I didn't realize what a business was. When I started a business, what I thought that I needed to do was to get a product and go and sell it. I didn't realize there's a lot more to it. And you can go get a product and sell it and make 10 or 20,000 a month. But if you have goals of actually becoming a self-made millionaire or getting rich, then you need to do a lot more than that. The 7 levers and 2 moves to creating exponential growth in your business are something that absolutely changed my life, and I hope they're going to change yours as well. See, if I take you back to when my business was struggling, I didn't understand that a business was an engine. So I've actually created an ebook on this, which you can get with it's called the Exponential Entrepreneur and how to go exponential in your business. So I found that there's actually 7 points, 7 parts of an engine, and the engine's what builds your business. So I'll explain to you those 7 points. But first, how I learned these was actually through a lot of pain. See, I didn't realize what a business was. When I started a business, what I thought that I needed to do was to get a product and go and sell it. I didn't realize there's a lot more to it. And you can go get a product and sell it and make 10 or 20,000 a month. But if you have goals of actually becoming a self-made millionaire or getting rich, then you need to do a lot more than that. And I want you to get this. As a business is a sport, right? An intellectual sport that you can play for the rest of your life. And as you know, I've got a really unique take on business and entrepreneurship. I think it's one of the most honorable things that you can do is to create a business that gives people jobs and solves a problem for others. And because of that, business owners get rewarded handsomely if they do it right. But take you back to when I was struggling. I didn't realize I kept on starting a different business and coming up to the same problem over and over and over again. I didn't realize this. And so I started multiple businesses. I see a lot of new entrepreneurs, probably like you, and you've got 4 or 5 different businesses. They all have the same problem. They all don't have enough leads, or they don't have the right systems, or they don't have the right scale. They have 4 or 5, and none of them are doing $1 million a month, right? None of them have scaled. And the problem is if you try to do more than one business, all you're doing is diluting your time and then diluting your focus, okay? So there are 4 C's whenever you're creating something. The first is clarity. What is it that you want to create? The second is commitment. Get fully committed. The next is, as you get fully committed, you got to have the courage to actually follow through. And lastly, then the capability shows up. And so you're very capable. You can learn a lot of things. So I want you to know this. A business is an intellectual sport. And in order for it to be an intellectual sport, you have to know the outcome. The outcome is to create a profitable enterprise that works without you. That's what a business is. A profitable enterprise that works without you. What money is a measurement. It flows to those who give value. So you understand what you're trying to do here is create a profitable enterprise that works without you. To do this, you must understand all the pieces of the puzzle. And so the first piece is exponential thinking. The second is business foundations. The third is acquisition. The fourth is monetization. The fifth is your delivery model. The sixth is operations. And the last one is leadership. Okay, and so let me go through this quickly so that you get it, but also it's explained in far more detail in the ebook that you can get at the end of this episode. So exponential thinking, okay, so you must first understand that a business isn't going to grow linearly, okay? It's going to start out very slow, and then as you add things to it, you get further and further ahead. See, once you get the product, and once you get the target market, and then you get your messaging right, and then you can sell your first product, right? You haven't really got anywhere. You sell your first product, then you can sell your second product. You can hire your first staff member. You're still really not got anywhere. Then you hire your second staff member, and then you get your social media working, and then you get paid ads working, then you get your third staff member, then you get an operations person. But still you're not got anywhere, but you start to see some growth. Eventually, all these things you put in place leads to massive growth, right? But typically it's flat lines. So you must think exponentially. So the first way to think exponentially is, what is your model, okay? What is the model of your business? If you're selling time for money, your model is going to be locked at whatever you can charge for your time. And sometimes people keep on trying to charge more and more and more for their time. But the problem is people just won't pay more for the same thing because the time isn't what they want. They want the value. And so you see many, smart doctors or surgeons or dentists or very smart people, lawyers, and they just try to charge more and more for their time, but they don't actually have an exponential thinking. At some point it's capped, right? They can't get any further. So then they try to hire other people to do it. But the truth is they need a different model. Okay, so the first thing if you want to go exponential, if you want to be able to make millions and millions a month, you need a model that's going to be able to scale you to that. Okay. The next thing in exponential thinking is creative structure. You must be in a structure of where you're focusing, where you're putting your consciousness. Your business must be about one thing, creating a profitable enterprise that works without you. Nothing else. That's it. Okay. That's what it's about. And so the next thing is to understand your personal strengths and your own weaknesses. Exponential thinking says double down on your strengths and hire people who have the strengths where you're weak. Okay, do not try to go into every piece of weakness that you have. Focus on your strengths, make money, and hire people where you're weak. This is exponential thinking. So this is the very most important part, which I expand more in the ebook below. The second is business foundations, okay? And so when you think about your business foundations, you got to think about what is your return on investment, okay? So you're going to put in time investment, money investment into this business to get it started. And you got to ask yourself, okay, if I'm going to put in 6 months and $100,000 to get this thing going, okay, and I'm probably not going to make anything for those 6 months. Anything I make, I'm just going to put into staff. What does my ROI need to be after that to make it worthwhile? See, a lot of people don't actually have a stop loss in their business. They never realize, okay, so I've actually put in time and money. And so when you think about business foundations, is what is your ROI that you need? Okay. The next thing that we must integrate is reporting. Okay. So what reporting do you actually need to have in your business, right? And how are you going to report on different things, right? Are you going to report on your profit, on your return on ad spend, on your amount of customers, on your amount of leads? Like, what are you reporting? And we've got an amazing structure for you in the next session where I'll explain to you exactly the reporting you need for your marketing. Okay, what is your money model, right? Like, how does this thing actually make money? Right? Like, what is it that you're there? Do you want to make money at a 25% ROI or a 23%? Because then you can reverse engineer what your prices should be. Many people have no idea what their prices are, right? They say, oh, well, I'm just going to charge $2,000 for this. Okay, great. But then what are your costs for delivering it? And then how much are you left with if you charge $2,000? People always ask me, Chris, how do you come to that number? And I say, well, I have a 25% minimum ROI, like margin. So I have to have 25% at the end. So when I look at everything that's going to cost, if I'm going to bring in staff or other people, this is what I need to make, right? And I add back marketing costs and sales costs and everything else, and it gives me my number, right? You need to have the right message, the right targeting, and you need to know the mission, like the purpose, okay? So the first, exponential thinking, is what I expand mostly about in the book, like how to think right. Then the second, business foundations, is what is the business about? The third is acquisition. I'm going to cover this more in the next episode. This is how you generate new customers. There are actually a few measurements, and it's very important to get the measurements right. So I'm going to cover those measurements in the next episode. But for example, with acquisition, how do you acquire new customers? So how do you generate leads? What campaigns are you going to do? What is the advertising? How are you going to advertise? How are you going to present what you're going to do? What media, and what is your unique selling position? Okay. The next is monetization. Okay. So if you've acquired leads, how do you monetize? What are your offers? What are your upsells? What are your funnels? Are you going to have partnerships? Are you going to have a sales team? How do you turn leads into customers and customers into profit? The next is delivery. This is very overlooked. Like, what is your customer experience, your support, your product path, product design, how you ensure customers actually get what they're paid for. Next is operations. So automation, delegation, SOPs, standard operating procedures, finance, legal. How do you make the business run smoothly without you? And then lastly is leadership, culture, KPIs, key performance indicators, your meeting cadence, your planning, recruitment, training, how you actually direct your company. And so I remember the first time I heard this, I went, wow. I mean, I just thought a business was I get a product and I go out there and sell it. No wonder I'm not scaling. And so there are 7 different leverage points in your business, right? So exponential thinking, business foundations, acquisition, monetization, delivery, operations, and leadership. However, usually there are only 2 moves that you need in order to get your business into the right place, okay? And so the first is to get the right business model and message, okay? And then the second is how you acquire customers. Because if you firstly get the right message and model, okay, and then you figure out just one way to acquire new customers, you can pay for the rest. See, most people think, okay, if I get a product and an offer, then I'm rich. No, if you get a product and a way to sell it, you're not rich. You've now just got the money to build the business. And so a business should be a self-fulfilling and self-liquidating endeavor. Is you don't have to start with that much money, right? Like whatever it is that you're able to put in is what you've got. You've just got to get it so that when you put money and time into your business, more spits out. And then what you do is you systematically invest that into people, tools, and technology so that it grows, and then it grows, and then it grows. Okay, so you're only 2 moves away. Is get the right message and model. Okay, so the right money model, the right message, get that right, and then get one way of acquiring customers. Once you do that, you just start hiring really smart people. And one suggestion, don't eat the seed corn. Your first 10, 20,000 a month, it's just for you to go get the right staff. Don't spend it. In fact, don't be spending your first 100 grand a month if you want to actually build a big business. Give yourself a small wage. Put yourself on, a 5% wage, right? Whatever you make, just pay yourself 5% and put everything else back into the business. On the next episode, I'm going to dive deep on acquisition because honestly, most problems in business can be solved with making more money. If you'd like to get this ebook, go ahead and click on the link under here and or next to this episode or wherever it is, or go to my website and find it. It's called the Exponential Entrepreneur Guide. So hope you enjoyed this. I'll see you on the very next episode where we talk about acquisitions.